Lauren's on drugs selling Matt's identity to Kingpin. Kingpin knows who he is. Matt's getting blown up and possibly dead. All that and more in just a second. Welcome to Man Without Fear Mondays. We are going to be talking about Daredevil Born Again to prepare you on a journey of old Hornhead himself. First things first, go ahead, like, subscribe, share, hit the notification button for Nerd Initiative. You can find us everywhere, nerdinitiative.com. I am Matt, editor-in-chief here at Nerd Initiative, but just like Daredevil, he is never alone because I've got my trusty Foggy, I've got Karen, I've just spoiled my secret identity. We are here. I've got Megan, I've got Lauren. Megan, go ahead and introduce yourself first before we dive into this.
My name is Megan. You can know who I am because I don't have a Matt. This is all you get. I am Megan from Vigilante Vibes, where I talk all things Marvel, and we are very, very excited to do this because we're basically living Daredevil right now. Let's put it through our veins. We are just happy to talk about it.
I'm blind in one eye. And, I mean, I'm blind in one eye, and we also got
he's basically
Kingpin running the streets. So yeah,
and I have him right here. This is him.
Aww.
That's awesome.
I brought him just in case he needed to give his side of the story.
Does when he was a boy, Lauren, when you were a girl, why don't you go ahead and tell us all about your origins?
All about my origins? Well, after I saved an elderly woman from being hit by a truck full of toxic chemicals, I lost my hearing. Okay, yeah, so I'm Lauren. I'm also from Nerd Initiative and half of Hop News, which is the podcast I have with the man without fear himself wearing the Daredevil helmet that I'm wondering how long that's going to last. Can you hear well in it? So you can hear, but you just can't see.
I've got the iPad pulled up it's a little hard to see because my left eye isn't very good, but if I close my right eye, I can see well. You know what? Daredevil doesn't need to see.
Your left eye's not good, but if you close
my
your
left
right
eye's blurry. My right eye is the one that works. My left eye is the one that doesn't
work. But you said if you close your right eye, you see better.
No, if I close my left eye, I can see better. Anyways,
okay.
Daredevil
I
doesn't
think what
need
we're not talking about is the shirt.
Roosevelt.
Oh.
Daredevil Roosevelt's to match. Listen, all right, I come prepared because I have fallen in love with the first Marvel character I've ever fallen in love with. The way that Lauren loves Wolverine. If you know anything about Nerd Initiative, Daredevil is my guy. The Daredevil series on Netflix, I fell in love with, and then I really just started diving into the comics. And Born Again was actually my first
awakening
story that it was my comic book awakening, if you will, into Daredevil, where it was the first one I read throughout. I have not read a full Daredevil run. I've kind of dabbled, but Born Again from Frank Miller was really the first. This is my go-to. And Megan and I were talking. We both are massive. Megan has a very wonderful, she's like the Marvel queen. And so she knows everything there is to know about Marvel. And so we were kind of just talking. Why don't we start preparing for Born Again season 2? We also have a really excellent comic book run getting ready to drop. You know, Lee Garbett and Stephanie Phillips, April, they're dropping their Daredevil run. And so it just felt right to journey through each week on Mondays, Man Without Fear Mondays, that Megan titled it. It's clever. Doesn't get much more clever than that. And we're going to just talk about the runs of Daredevil, whether it is, the Father run, or it's Born Again, or it is Man Without Fear, or we got Chip Zdarsky, Brian Michael Bendis, Charles Soule. We're going to cover it all, man. So that's where we are. Well, go ahead, Lauren. What is your connection before we dive into the comic book with Daredevil?
Oh, I fell in love with Charlie Cox on Netflix years ago. I remember because I was watching the MCU with my daughter, who I don't remember how old she was when we started. Maybe when she was like 6, we started watching Iron Man and everything. And we got to Daredevil. I remember being like, "Oh, this is a show Mommy's gonna have to watch alone." It was a little intense for her. Like when the guy did the bowling ball into the head, and I fell in love with Charlie Cox in the world, and I wasn't really familiar with Daredevil at all at that point. I hadn't read comics, but as soon as the Netflix show came out, I binged it because they were advertising it as part of MCU, and then they unadvertised it, and then when they brought it into Disney Plus and made it canon again, I was thrilled. The day those shows showed up on Disney Plus and it was in the MCU timeline, I was thrilled. And I did watch the Ben Affleck one years ago, so I was aware of Daredevil. But I mean,
listen,
really
that movie gets a little too much hate. I don't mind that movie. I'm going to be honest.
I can't stand that movie. God,
I feel like the best thing that came out of that movie was Elektra's line in Deadpool and Wolverine about it's okay.
Yeah. True. So Megan,
I think wait, I didn't say my favorite line.
I'm sorry. My bad. Go ahead.
It's when Elektra says you can't mask that ass. That's all I wanted to say.
You're right. That's right. My bad. I'm sorry,
They
but she's
should
been
keep
my best
that
friend.
line in the MCU. That should be said again and again and again.
It's
Yes.
true, because I bet you Charlie Cox probably he real ripped. He's kind of a
He's
I
got
hunk.
cake.
recognize the
He
ass.
does,
Yeah.
and
One of my
so
kids, a geek. Is that what the kids call it these days?
cakes. Yes, he got
Yeah.
cakes.
I didn't hear that one. Okay. Learn something
Megan,
new every day.
what is your relationship with Daredevil being, the Marvel? Marvel's your jive, man. It's your
Yeah.
jam, PB&J.
I don't remember a time I didn't know about Daredevil because he has been on the animated series and all those.
Oh yeah.
But then I watched Ben Affleck's and I was like, okay. I mean, that was okay. But then we got Charlie Cox, and I'm like, how could I have ever settled? No offense, Ben Affleck, and whoever made that movie, but how could I have done that to myself? And now you have Charlie Cox, who, by the way, did not know Daredevil was blind until a night before he auditioned.
What? That's
And now,
crazy.
like, it's
That's
weird.
worse than Hugh Jackman not knowing that Wolverine was a real animal. That's crazy.
It's just like his number one thing. Like, Daredevil, you know this thing. And he was like, nope, had no
Had
idea. And he
no
still
idea.
got it.
Yet the man
And-
looks blind all the time when he's.
He does such an excellent
Yeah.
job in terms of,
It's weird when you notice him look.
Oh,
All right.
yeah, because you see him after Born
I don't know
Again
why I
when they were
froze,
doing the
but-
press tour, and everyone was like, "Is he blind though? Is Charlie blind?" Because he looks.
they literally thought he was blind.
Well, if you watch him, he kind of like stares off, and when he's talking to you, he looks straight past you, and it's like he's way too into character. He's got to.
Well, he lost roles because he kind of was too used to playing a blind.
Yeah, he said
so
he
he ended
had
up
that
losing
where,
the role.
yeah, he just subconsciously was looking away. I did see an interview with him talking about that. He's like, yeah, I found myself like looking not at the person when I was doing things. But I mean, kudos to him, because to be able to do those fight scenes and like these emotional scenes and all these things without making eye contact and having to look away, but still look like you're paying attention. Like, I mean, he's done
It's
a phenomenal
fantastic.
job and still look hot while doing it. I mean, he
Oh
checks
my
all
God.
the boxes.
God bless.
Well, we are here to talk comic books, right? So we started
Yeah.
with the quintessential Born Again storyline, which Lauren just actually read. So Lauren, I want to hear, before we dive into the synopsis, what are your spoiler-free thoughts of Born Again? The Frank Miller, the one that everybody talks about when they suggest a comic from Daredevil. It's typically this one.
So I had actually read quite a few of these issues earlier in this run by Frank Miller. But this batch, the 227 to 233 that I literally read today, was like the best Daredevil comics I think I've ever read. Like, they were so good. It was dark and gritty, and it's like I love seeing the progression of the art in comic books, because I also read the first issue that Wonder Man was in today, and obviously that is a very different feel, much more like G. Golly Whitaker, with the Wasp being like, I just want to go out to dinner, Ant-Man. And so to go from that to 20 years later, I guess 20 plus years later, to go to Daredevil, where it's grounded and it's gritty and it's real issues and they're dealing with heroin, and like just seeing Daredevil be completely unraveled, which we saw in the show, but not to this degree. Like this was just so good. It was really good. And then seeing Fisk get wound up, and I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was phenomenal.
It was. Megan, why don't you tell us your thoughts and then dive into a bit of the synopsis for us?
So what I really loved about it was how freaking dark it is. Like, you
Yes.
immediately start off with Karen, who Karen sucks, by the way. I don't care what anyone says.
Oh
Karen sucks.
man. Okay. And when we meet Karen right now, no, she's not a
I
good
mean,
person.
she's always like, I've never, you know what? That's for a different day.
Oh, I
But-
like MCU Karen. But
Oh, I don't.
This Karen
I
did
don't.
suck.
I texted my friends last night. I was like, I really hope she dies on this season. And everyone's like, what is your
Oh.
problem?
Wow. Jeez.
Oh,
All
right.
it's harsh.
She annoys me so much. I don't know what it is.
Oh, I like her.
Oh, she's not Elektra. It's whatever. But I loved it because it starts off so dark. Like, you don't expect it from, a Marvel comic. So it starts off with Karen selling Daredevil's identity, his secret identity, who he is, Matt Murdock, for a hit of heroin. And the guy she's selling it to is like, I'm a big fan of your videos, which also she does.
She's a
porn.
porn star.
Yeah, and it's like, I
Is she a
just wanna point
star
out-
though, or is she just into porn? There's a difference.
I wouldn't think she's a
She
star.
has videos. She
Yeah.
she is the star of videos.
But are they good
Well, they
videos?
didn't
I
have
need to see these
OnlyFans.
videos. Yeah,
So-
Okay, Lauren, what?
just go on. Yes, she's a heroin addict. It's terrible.
Yeah, they go so far into, like, she does look like crap. She's sweaty, she's cold, she's running, she like
Yeah,
so
they
much
did a
bad
good
stuff.
job of making her look gross.
Yeah, and it like the whole time I was like, that's what you get though. Who would do that? I wouldn't.
I wouldn't either.
I mean, desperate time. She moved to California, and then
She's
yeah.
in Mexico.
Oh yeah. So
She's
And then she's
running
like
though.
yeah.
She's
crapping
running.
on Christmas as being hot. I was like, okay, you're being a little judgmental right now.
But this shout out to David Mazuka. I can never pronounce names. Mazukali. I can't pronounce it. I'm
You
sorry.
can't read right now either with that mask.
I also
on.
can't really read with the mask on. I'm really trying to commit to the bit. But, his art style was incredible because she does look really strung out and it's very
She's
grimy. You can just see
emaciated,
how
yeah.
gross her skin is and feel how hot and just, ugh.
Just want her to
gross.
take a shower.
I
Yeah.
wanted to take a shower reading her because I was like, ugh,
It
gross.
was really gross. And
But they
Yeah.
did a good job of
Ugh.
painting like rock bottom kind of thing. And like
Yeah.
she knows what she's doing is wrong. And it's that like addiction mentality of just like nothing matters in that moment. Even the things that matter to you don't matter.
Okay,
Yeah.
but like what's rock bottom for you guys to get to the point where you would sell your boyfriend's secret identity for heroin? Like what
Well,
rock
I've never
bottom?
done
Well, I
heroin.
don't think it would be for heroin, but I would
I've
think
never
if
done
it was
heroin either, but what
something
would you sell? What was your breaking point? What would be the thing that you would sell your boyfriend's secret identity as Daredevil for?
my kids, 100%. That would be it.
Oh, that's a good answer. I like that one.
Yeah.
I'm going with that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lauren, 100%. Just to be clear, she was about to say Jensen Ackles. So
100%. I expected
Well.
Hugh Jackman. So like,
Okay, what's funny is I was actually thinking realistic, and I was going to be like the first issue that Wolverine's in, the 180 to 181. But no,
but you got to
but no,
think
Megan. I like Megan's answer. Ditto.
yeah, and this it's just
'Cause what
so it
wouldn't you
shows
do
you
for
where
your
we're at
kids?
because we meet Karen Page. We've at this point we've been with her and Foggy, and there's always been a love triangle there. But
yeah.
Kingpin at this point gets a whiff of what's going down, and he pays and he finds out exactly who. I have like screen grabs and stuff, so I'm gonna have to break from the bit.
Oh my God, it's Matt Murdock.
I gotta
He's
break
my
for the
lawyer.
bit. Oh my God, I'm a really really good lawyer. All right, so. Let's just, and I don't know why that mattered because I took this off. Good thing there's editing because I can't see
Oh, this is
which
the last
screen grab.
issue.
There we go. Here we
Okay.
go. So you kind of, get the whole Kingpin's figuring out who Matt Murdock is, and it comes to the conclusion that hey, they're one and the same. This guy has ruined my life, and that kicks off the whole thing when he piece by piece. It's so methodical. Megan, what is going through your mind? It's just methodically ruining Matt Murdock and Daredevil at once.
See, okay, when I first read it, I was like, how do they know she's being truthful? Because were they going to go spy on a blind guy and be like, that's a guy? She could easily just pick out someone who is
She's
a
also
dick
a
to her.
heroin addict, so like
Right.
you're gonna believe a
Right.
heroin addict like that?
Or
Okay,
an
I guess.
ex-boyfriend or someone who was a dick to you at one point in New York, like that him. And what are they going to do? Prove you wrong?
I
Yeah,
didn't even think about that because
that's a
I knew
good
she was
point.
telling the truth.
Very
but
trustworthy, ruining this guy's life over a heroin addict's tip.
Yeah, that's all you had to do. I mean, it requires lying, but it's like, okay, but Matt didn't do anything. He was the one that always stuck up for you. He was the one that was like, you got to get off drugs. What's her name? Karen. We got to do better, Karen. Stupid Karen.
God dang it, Karen! Come on, Karen. But you're right. I mean, he was with her from day
Damn it,
one. Like,
Dave.
he'd do anything for her, and then he also trusted her to keep this identity, and then for her to essentially, hey, here he is. All right, whatever. And now his biggest enemy. Now he goes through it all. He destroys his life. He gets him disbarred. He blows up his living space. Like he tries to kill him. He blows the place up.
Yeah.
There's no body. And so he's going out there to tarnish the name, which we kind of see in the TV show when we get Dexter dressing up as, I like the elements that they wove into the TV show.
Yeah. He got the costume from Melvin, but I liked when he gave Melvin the okay for it to do his costume. But I think Karen just assumed Daredevil will always be on his 2 feet like a cat. He'll always land on his feet because in the end, Kingpin's like, kill everybody who has this information, including Karen. And Karen's like, I need to find Matt so Matt can save me. Like she didn't have a question in her mind that he would save her because I don't think she ever thought that it was.
That's also kind of dirty on her part that, hey,
100%.
I'm going to sell his information but he's going to save me. It's going to be okay. You are lucky this man is a man tied to God because if it was anybody else, goodbye.
She is a star.
I mean, here's the thing. She didn't sell his identity to save her own life. She didn't do it to help her in any way just to get high. She went out for that.
But I think when you're that addicted, you think in your head, like, this will save my life right now.
100%.
I just need that one fix.
I also think, she wasn't even in New York. So she could have been like, this will never get back there,
That's a good point. True. If you're in Mexico, why would anybody think Matt
Who
Murdock? Who
cares
the
what
hell? Who's
happens
that?
yeah,
Okay.
in Hell's
All right.
Kitchen? Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, because she
That's a
never
very good
said you
point.
was the kingpin. And I think that right there, I don't think people talk about enough. That how much influence Kingpin has was that he was the first to know.
Yeah. There's a reason why he is the big bad of so many Daredevil runs. Not even Daredevil, but Spider-Man across, the
Yeah.
X-Men. Like so many heroes have beef with this guy, and it's because you're right. He's influential. He touches all, and he really does destroy Murdoch's life. And Foggy kind of has his own life going on at the same time during all this.
And Foggy doesn't know who he is.
No. So yeah, Lauren,
So,
take us through this. Like, yes.
No, I just thought that was interesting because you never know in these comics if Karen knows or Foggy knows, because sometimes they know, sometimes they don't, depending on the
Yeah.
storyline.
Depends on who's writing, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
but so Foggy's still completely in the clear, and I think Matt truly does that to maintain Foggy's innocence. And because they're attorneys, it gives him the benefit of the doubt of being able to say, "I had no idea," because, like, if he were to have to testify, he doesn't want to testify against his best friend. But I thought it was sweet how Foggy was always still there for him, and Kingpin set him up with a good job. He's getting ready to, influence Foggy just like he did everybody else in this, because like he turned a good cop dirty because the cop thought that it was going to save his son's life. And that goes to Megan's point, like, at what point would you flip on somebody? Your kids right there. I didn't even fault that guy for what he did. Like, this is some single dude with no kids. I'll sacrifice that guy to save my kid. And in the end, obviously, the kid sadly passed away on Christmas morning. Good God, they really leaned into it in this.
They did, yeah.
They do not like kids in this one.
No, they really don't.
Nobody gets happy in it.
And then Matt, even at one point, he's like, "I can hear kids crying. Ignore the kids crying."
No, when Nuke comes.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, when he's like, I can hear moms clutching their dying babies. I'm like, whoa, dude.
Because in movies, they never show the babies getting hurt or anything like that.
Oh,
Like,
no, they don't.
Babies didn't disappear in the movie in Infinity War. They disappeared in the comic, but not in the movie. Like, yeah, they don't do that in the movie. So it is always interesting to see it in the comics that they will just kill anybody.
It's in particular this one too. I mean, it's no holding back at all. And we even get Matt to the point where we kind of get this scene in the TV show too, which I thought they brought a lot of good elements. He's beat down, unconscious. He's got no money. He is desperate beyond belief. He's got nobody's secret identity to really sell off for anything himself at this moment. He's got nothing, and that's going on. But meanwhile, there's also Matt's confidant, Ben Urich, who's from the Daily Bugle at this point. Right. He starts to kind of dive in and figure out, like, okay, what's really going on here? Like, that's not Matt Murdock that I know. That's not. And so Kingpin kind of goes in, finds his source, and kills Urich's source, intimidates Ben into silence. And so Matt's on his own at this, truly just left on his own. We don't know really where it's going to happen. And it sets up this crazy just picture, because from there, he decides to end up, he's going to kill Kingpin. He's going to break his one rule. He decided he's going to kill Kingpin. Obviously, things don't go that way, but we get good, excellent sequences like this where he's kind of fighting himself, and really beautiful artwork all throughout. And we've already kind of come back through this where there's really shadowy parts of there, and it's just excellent all around. So at this point, we kind of move into when Karen's now about to get back to New York. How do y'all feel about Karen's big return to New York City?
Well, she finds another pimp. So there's that, but I get she needed to come back.
But it's
like, Karen, she is resourceful, but it's like, Karen, girl, you could kill him. I don't know who told you couldn't. You could take him out. He's asleep on the bed, girl. You've done worse. Yeah. Just kill him. It's fine. No one will miss. See, this is what these comics do to me. Because now I'm like, just kill him. Who cares?
Yeah.
Somewhere this is going to be played in court.
You'll need a really good lawyer.
I have a really good lawyer.
I promise. Yeah. Lauren, kind of, how are you feeling? Because Karen's getting ready, like, things are unhinged. Matt is now under his mom's care. Kingpin is getting more and more unhinged. He's going after Urich. He's going after the hospital. And Karen, meanwhile, is just finds herself a pimp. She's going to go back and save Matt Murdock. Where are you sitting?
She's just a sad, sad individual. I really loved the Ben Urich stuff because I feel like you saw him just kind of get broken when like he heard the guy getting murdered on the phone, and I thought that was interesting because I fell in love with Ben Urich in the show, and I think everybody did, and I think I love the relationship between him and Karen and how much he was willing to stand up, but he was still sensible about it. And so I feel like you still got that. And I like that it was connected to the Daily Bugle. That was fun.
Yeah.
And with J. Jonah Jameson giving him like a pep talk of like, don't give up. You have to keep doing this. And in my head, I'm like, you're sentencing him to death if he keeps doing this. But at the same time,
Yeah.
I loved the speech with J. Jonah Jameson telling him like a newspaper can take down bad presidents and it can take down all these bad people, and
It used to anyways.
but that's the hope, is getting the story out. I understand how fictional that is now. I didn't used to think it was super fictional. I used to think that when people heard bad things that people did, that then they would turn on that
Like when
person.
my comics are really fictional.
Right. But there's a lot of
There is. And
I mean,
so
Megan
this
even mentioned that before we started.
this leads us to some really unhinged stuff, because Kingpin now we get Nuke, and Nuke is a very, very war criminal. He's all about, just red, white, and blue. And he even takes red, white, and blue pills, which each pill kind of gives him a different power, whether it's superpowers. He's very psychotic.
It's like Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, this dude is taking pills to get his strength. And so he's flying through New York. And this is when Kingpin uses military connections to get this guy. He's assaulting Hell's Kitchen to kind of try to draw Daredevil out. And Matt does come out as Daredevil, and they have a big showdown. Ends in the helicopter crashing. The pilot dies. This brings out Captain America and the Avengers, who are pretty upset at the situation. When I was reading this for the first time, I didn't know the Avengers showed up in this. I'm thinking Nuke is somebody we got to see on screen. Megan, I know we've had this talk. Nuke, like, how are you feeling about my man's here?
I think it's a matter of time before we at least get a Nuke in the MCU, because he's too outlandish.
Relevant to today's people. Oh, okay.
No, you are right.
Could be the MCU's like version of Homelander to a degree.
Yeah, that's the thing. And they've already seen so many stories in the MCU about super soldier this, super soldier that. This was a new super soldier. That's what he is a failed super soldier that takes pills to. The red one makes him rage out like a Hulk. I mean, and the white and blue, I don't know what they do, but they just keep putting him in his mouth.
Blue gets him a raging 4-hour red, white, and blue.
I think he needs to go to the doctor.
Kill a lot of innocent
I really thought when he said 4 hours, I was like, Matt, you read between the lines.
Yeah.
He gets
read the warning label on the medicine bottle.
4-hour hard-on for just killing anything in his path, whether it's Hell's Kitchen, it's Daredevil, it's the Avengers, it's any of that. And that's when, it turns out that, hey, he was this very violent, unhinged, super soldier, because they tried to recreate Project Rebirth. And that's what it was. Unfortunately, not the case. And then Nuke ends up breaking out custody. He runs wild. He's attacking the Daily Bugle. He's going toe-to-toe with Captain America, and the military does try to kill him. Kingpin's men are out there trying to kill him, and Nuke and Daredevil, first on opposite sides, kind of, end up on the same side in the end, because Nuke's about to die. He's going to die if he doesn't get to the hospital. So Daredevil's trying to get him to the hospital. Crazy. This whole comic run is just absolutely as we go along, getting more and more just what are we witnessing right now? It's intense.
It is. And it's so crazy. When the Avengers showed up, I was like, you know what? This doesn't concern you guys. They literally blew up this guy's house, and you guys are just showing up now. Get out. That's when I was like
Sokovia Accords. Like, oh, you're being called by the federal government now. Like, yeah.
I could see that about Captain America, but Thor, that's when I was like, what are you guys doing? But Captain America.
Go ahead and hold Thor to the Sokovia Accords. Okay, buddy.
Yeah.
And he'll just go wherever they tell him to go.
What's the hubris of like regular humans who have no power that still live by the structure of law, in a sense, right? Their hubris is always going to be what is their downfall, because, they have to live by our laws. Dude, Thor is from Asgard. He ain't even from this.
What does he care? I think he's just like, I agree with you guys. I'll follow you along.
He's a good guy. He's going to abide by the laws. Like, no.
And it's like, what are you guys going to do to him?
Yeah, like, okay.
With this hammer? Get out of here.
It is just kind of like, what are we doing here? And instead of going to the hospital too in this, where we talked about reporting, Lauren did, Matt decides to take Nuke to the Daily Bugle and be like, hey, spill your guts out as you're dying. Spill your guts out on this table, but also spill your guts out to the newspaper. And Kingpin's image gets tarnished, and all of that stuff is shattered. And he doesn't go to jail because he's rich, right? Why would he go to jail? But he does.
There's going to be years of litigation.
Yeah, I mean, he does play the court system, but in the end, it does feel as though Matt wins, but he doesn't actually win. Kingpin doesn't go to jail. Kingpin is just there, but Matt now
Real
he's with
life.
Karen. I mean, he's with Karen again, if I guess he really wants that, but he's not a lawyer anymore at the end of this. He is kind of a nobody. He's stuck with some heroin addict porn star who was willing to sell him down the river for another bump. I don't really know
Isn't bump cocaine?
You get bumps of heroin too.
Oh, I didn't know
Listen,
that.
okay, if I'm not going to sit here and give a lecture because then I'm going to get phone calls about why and called in
Why
to
you
go
know
take
so much
tests.
about
In
heroin?
short, like anything
And here,
with a
I thought I
needle,
was knowledgeable.
anything with a needle can be a bump. Just
Listen,
put
Oh.
yes, it could. Welcome. Also, we are resident
Thought a
drugs on
Bump
this.
was
so-
just a little thing that you
we
sniff.
we watch
I never-
Narcos. We understand how it works in the streets.
I watched Narcos too. I guess I didn't pay
Grew up
attention.
on the
I was just
streets.
staring at Pedro Pascal the whole time.
We
Same.
did grow up in them streets. So, yes, Megan, how do you feel at the end of this? We kind of get some conclusion, but also Matt's kind of living a sad life at this.
I mean, I think the whole part of Daredevil in this whole series is a perfect example that it's not just Spider-Man that goes through these things. Daredevil does too. And there were so many little things that people don't focus on. Like he randomly dyes his hair so he can go undercover, but never says it. It's like, that's one of those things that's like, well, that's brilliant. That's
Yeah.
a brilliant thing to add. And then, you have Karen who's going through withdrawals on his bed and she's like biting his skin and he's like, it's fine, it's fine. Like that shows his patience and what he's willing to do for someone he genuinely cares about. And by the end of it, I don't know if he has his money back. I don't know what about the law license. I don't know about where he's living. I don't know about Foggy, but I do think Glory's going to show up in the MCU.
Oh,
That would be
I
good.
love that.
Yeah.
I do see.
At all.
It does kind of make me sad because Foggy is such a staple. And so now that we're in the MCU, we're not quite getting that, but it's comic books, right? There's only really two people that ever stayed dead, the Waynes and Uncle Ben.
Uncle
So
Ben.
who
Well,
really
Thomas Wayne
knows?
didn't stay dead. He's in Flash.
I don't mind the pop. We'll see what happens, but you're right. There's a lot of, we don't know.
And
We-
Martha's
we have to
alive
see
and
kind of what
absolute
happens
champion.
next. In
Lauren's
this
just
very
really
much
derailed it all.
It's just Uncle Ben.
True.
That's it. Poor Uncle Ben.
Just Uncle Ben.
There's no
Um,
story that he's alive, is there?
Just
No,
not
because
really.
he's a
And
nexus being. Like his whole death was a nexus point or whatever.
it was a whole. Imagine.
They
your
need to bring that
importance-
up in the TVA. That should come up in the next Spider-Man movie. Be like, wait, what?
Your
We have time
whole
traveling thing? Oh
importance
no, Uncle
is
Ben dies always.
You
Sorry,
gotta
Peter.
die. If Your
Sorry.
whole importance to
Anyway.
anything in the universe is your death. That's kind of both sad and like you feel important, I would imagine. But
You feel nothing. You're dead.
well, true. But imagine you're living a multiverse version of you, and you find out that you have to die in order to save the multiverse, and you're like, oh wow,
I wouldn't
so how
die.
do I-
I let all those universes die. I'm not dying for you. I don't know you.
Oh, that sucks. Good luck though. Sorry.
Man, that blows. I didn't sign anything.
Listen. No, but
Maybe you
Lauren,
can just go to the end of the universe and hang out with Elias.
true. It's
That's
true.
Uncle Ben's only hope.
That is true. Now,
Okay.
Lauren, how do you feel about at the end of this, where Matt's left at, where Kingpin's left at, as we wrap up this little story arc?
Honestly, it just reminded me of the show, like where Kingpin goes to jail, but it doesn't really mean anything. Everything's just, shit's gonna fall apart again. But I mean, that's real life. You wrap something up and it's just more BS the next day. So I thought it was a proper ending to the story. Fisk is getting called out, but it's not going to stick. But Matt's doing the best he can. Foggy did mention working on an appeal. So I do think that Matt will get his bar membership back. Because they're going based on ethics, and now that Fisk is a POS. There's reason to appeal that.
There's a lot of reasonable doubt there. And Lauren's our resident lawyer, by the way. So we're just going to
I
consult
don't
her
practice in New
when we talk
York,
about
so
this.
I also don't do superhero law.
But
Oh,
like,
actually,
should.
there was a thing. So I'm only familiar really with bankruptcy law and foreclosure defense.
Well, Matt's
Matt,
poor. He could be going to bankruptcy.
as an
law soon.
attorney, Matt 100% should have filed bankruptcy the second that he was getting, like, his assets were getting frozen, because then he could have negotiated an agreement with the IRS. He could have gotten his assets unfrozen. He could have stopped the foreclosure on his house, and he should have known all these things. So that is
I think
one
he had
hole in
bigger
the
problems to
story.
worry about at that point, but
No, that was one of his
He
main
was-
issues in that moment.
he was depressed because he had no money. He had nowhere to live. Someone was manipulating everything. I think
yeah,
whenever you're going through something like that, your biggest issue is your home. You have to have somewhere to solve the problems at.
yeah.
So he should have thought of
Stayed the
Well,
foreclosure.
it is kind of one of those things when people say money doesn't solve everything, but
Solves a lot.
But I
money
have,
would
like-
solve a lot.
I got like
People who
99 problems that
have
it would solve.
Listen,
Yeah. Yeah.
money might not solve the fact that my secret identity is leaked and now everybody knows who I am, but money would solve
Money can buy a new
You
a
can
identity.
buy a new
lot of
secret identity.
money would solve a lot of problems. All right, what would the city ever do for me? But I think that does speak to Matt and why I love him, not just because his name is Matt too, no big deal, but I do love the fact that he is this genuinely good person and he has such deep values that he stands by, and he really struggles. And like you said, Peter Parker isn't the only one who kind of has it crappy in Marvel. Peter is broke, and sure, but he doesn't go through kind of some of the traumas that Matt Murdock really, like. Matt Murdock has a really crappy life in most comic, whether it's Foggy dying, whether it's Karen dying or being strung out on drugs, or him losing his life or
His
something.
mom, his dad.
Matt
Yeah.
Murdock
Spider-Man
has
hasn't.
adult. Matt Murdock has adult problems.
Yes.
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Spider-Man
that's
has
not
an
well.
innocence about him that Daredevil does not.
Yeah.
Can we
No,
talk about
and-
like a mom for a second? Like he figured out, like I thought they were gonna follow to a T the show, or vice versa. And then he's like, her sweat or whatever, she smells similar to how I smell. I'm like, what? That's how you put together she was your mom?
it makes
I guess
sense.
pheromones.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
thinking like the pheromones.
But I
would put
feel
him
like you can smell other people. I mean, I guess he can smell himself since he has really heightened smell. But like, can you smell yourself?
This brings up a question that I've had in my head for years, and I feel very comfortable asking you to.
Cool.
Can Daredevil sense Peter Parker's Spidey?
I feel like he would be able to.
You would think, but is
Why
it only in his head? It's like
Ooh.
I've thought about this for years. No one can give me
There's
an
got to
answer.
be an external source that
Oh.
is causing the
We
Peter
got to
thing.
make this a poll.
So
There-
that makes sense that Matt would be able to detect it if he's around.
It's a change. So if he can detect heartbeats, right?
Yeah.
You would think that he would be able to detect that because it's sensing danger. And when you sense danger, your heart races and you get adrenaline. And so I feel like in that sense,
Yeah.
Matt wouldn't sense when Peter's heart spikes out of nowhere, and that would clue him in at the very least to the Spidey sense going off.
But that's
That's
side
right.
effects of the Spidey sense. I'm talking about the Spidey, the little things that come out of his head in the comics.
Well, it would
And
probably give him like goosebumps and stuff. Then yeah,
I think he
Stephanie
can only-
Phillips, if you're watching, I need you to answer this because I trust you.
I feel
This
like
is a
he can
good
only.
one.
Are you asking if he can sense it when Spider-Man's not around, or only when he's near Spider-Man?
So if he's about to, if he's watching Spider-Man and someone's about to shoot Spider-Man and Daredevil knows it, can he sense that Spider-Man's Spidey sense is
Feels
telling
Peter.
him beforehand?
I say yes,
I would say
think so,
yes.
too.
I would say
think so.
yes. Why wouldn't he? Can sense everything else.
because
Absolutely.
it's not a
Because he can
Jedi
sense-
power. There's something externally that he's experiencing to give him that Peter Tingle Spidey sense.
Exactly.
would
But
say
in some
yes.
comics, it just comes to him randomly and he's like, oh shit, something's going on. It's not like it really depends on who's writing.
They've
But
never explored that in a comic of them
They haven't.
together either.
they
And
haven't.
they're together a decent amount too.
I know.
Why
And
has
it's
this
like,
never come up before?
you cowards. Like, why can't you just tell him?
Why has
so
no writer or
long.
artist come up? Maybe they have and it got shot down and we just don't know the workings of Marvel, but
Maybe we're just being gaslit because they know.
Maybe there's one comic out there we just haven't
all
read.
right.
that's
Well,
out
we're
there.
gonna fire off the poll. I would like for everybody out there who is watching or listening, weigh in, drop a comment. Drop
Yeah,
whatever it
please
is.
tell me because it's been a long road and I don't see it ending anytime soon. And I just need to know.
That is a
like-
really we're gonna
Megan
have-
wants to know:
we
Can
need
Matt
I need-
Murdock feel Peter's Peter Tingle?
I would have to.
Oh,
We need that. So
And if
as
it's
we,
been
as
more
we
than
do,
4 hours,
don't take the blue pill. So as we wrap up, Lauren, out of 5 stars, what do you give Daredevil Born Again?
4.95.
ew, what?
What?
Okay,
my
5.
God.
5.
It's
I'll go 5.
like when I'm doing a comic review with her and she gives it a 9.25 and I said, why? It's
I
a 9.
read-
Round it up,
9.5,
9.5.
like,
I've read comic reviews and they're like 9.9. I'm like, what? What is that point
what
one?
is the
What is it-
0?
what-
Yeah, what is the point 1? I don't
There was,
understand.
I don't remember. There
This
was
is a
one
5 star.
episode.
This is 5 star. We're starting off
5
big. This is
stars.
5
5 stars. This is like
Thank
the flagship event for Daredevil because I've
Exactly.
always said that Marvel Comic has always thrived with Daredevil. That is some of their best work. And the complexity, but still always staying true to the character. It's not
And
like
this is-
Spider-Man Brand New Day that everyone just hated. He doesn't have one
Yeah.
of those. So I think this perfectly shows so many sides of him that no one ever saw. Like, when have you ever in the comic seen Daredevil go into a state of paranoia to the point where he's like, I can't trust you. I can't trust you. I
He's
know I can't
tweaking
trust you.
out. Yeah.
And he's trying to talk
Oh.
himself out of it.
I love that. He was delusional.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool. I liked that. Like, you thought he was talking to Foggy and then he hangs up and they're like, the current time is. That was really cool.
Yeah, and it's something that we don't ever get to see from him because he's always so level-headed. Even in
Mm.
the show, even toned, always level headed. But this was so different. And it showed that there are points that he cannot control. He cannot keep a level head. He cannot get his head in the game because he has no idea who to trust. He is genuinely, for the first time, completely alone. Because even when his dad died, he secretly had his mom watching. He
Mhm.
had this blind mentor who took him in. He had people, but right now, no one.
Do you think that with this next season of Born Again, they might play into that since he's on the run and that's kind of playing off the storyline? Like, I would like
I
to see that aspect.
I
Yeah.
don't what I think is I think they're gonna bring in Nuke to be the thing that keeps the vigilantes off the street, which they should do,
They
because
absolutely
that
should.
would perfectly be it. But I don't think they're gonna go straight into his own problems because at the end of Born Again season 1, we see him gathering a team. We have Jessica Jones. Right now, the
That's
problem
a
is
good point.
bigger
Yeah.
than him. It's bigger, it's as big as the city now. So I think he's gonna bring in. I think we're also gonna get a lot of flashbacks of Foggy because he is confirmed to be in the season 2. But I think
Yeah.
it should be in the way of Glory coming saying, I was his ex-girlfriend. I just wanted to say goodbye. And I think that's gonna start some inner turmoil.
Mm.
Oh, I would also love like Alan Richson to be playing Nuke. I think that would be a great
Oh,
casting for Nuke in this universe as well. He's got the
yeah.
build, the look already
Is that
there.
the Aquaman from
It's the guy who
Smallville?
plays. Yes, 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 yes.
Okay, yeah,
He
from
plays
Titans. Okay.
Reacher, all that. And
Yeah.
yeah, he plays Hawk in Titans. Yeah, I think he'd be a perfect. Maybe that's too on the nose, but he would be a perfect. And I hope they do Nuke as well because it would be a really cool way to kind of bring him in, and then maybe you can bring some of the other Avengers into this. We've got Jessica Jones, but maybe that's how we get Luke Cage back. Maybe that's how we get some of these other Avengers
You could
bringing
see Sam
Daredevil.
Wilson too, handling Nuke.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's how you tie Daredevil into the bigger MCU at large, which we haven't
John
had a
Walker.
chance to do yet.
Like,
So
yeah, I
John
would
Walker has his own problems
But
with
I'd
the
be like, hey,
Avengers.
I was a D-bag Captain America for 5 seconds. Like,
he's got.
You and I are
we hug it
one.
out.
We share the
Yeah.
same burden.
Do you think they'll
Well,
bring in Wonder Man at all into Daredevil with it taking place in New York?
maybe, but
I
I
don't
doubt it.
know. I'd have to
I
see
doubt.
Wonder Man.
I doubt it too, but I would like them
Good
to.
thing we're about to.
I don't think so because Daredevil and Wonder Man didn't have too much to do with each other in the comics because he was mostly West Coast Avengers and all that.
Right.
And they're pulling from his actor era. So and we're getting Doorman and Eric Grim Reaper. So there's no telling what they're doing. But they did say today that he's going to be in other people's projects.
Ooh,
It would
yeah.
have to be it'd have to be Vision Quest. That's the only thing that makes sense.
That's what I was talking about as well. We'll have to do some theories and stuff and talk about that when when we do some
We
Wonder
still have
Man
a lot of
action.
time,
So,
yeah.
as we kind of wrap up this week, Megan, do we have an idea of what next Man of Fear Mondays? What are we gonna do? Should we let the people decide? Which next run should we do next?
I think we should let the people because we decided this one, and I gotta say that was a banger. And it's just
Yeah.
like you can't catch
Y'all
lightning
started
twice.
high.
No, so we need, if anybody out there is listening, let us know which run of Daredevil we should cover next. Each week, the idea is to have a new guest on with Megan and I, and we're going to be trading off. Megan's going to take the lead. Then we're going to have a new guest on to kind of talk Daredevil, that specific run. So let us know who you would like to see as a guest, if it's realistic. First of all, that'd be nice. But members from the Nerd Initiative Bullpen, Nerd Initiative are going to come on with us. Lauren got to join us for tonight's inaugural run of things. And then, please, by all means, let us know which run. Follow us on Nerd Initiative. Check out, Megan, where can they find your Non-Toxic Marvel podcast?
You can find me. Sorry, hang on. I have to get the main players here. You can find us everywhere, especially YouTube. This is Daredevil. Don't look at my nails though; they're really bad. You can find me everywhere just by looking at Vigilante Vibes Podcast, and you can find everything I write on nerdinitiative.com.
Excellent. Lauren, where can they find us, you, everything?
Everywhere at Hops Geek News. We're there. Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, all those fun things. And like Megan said, I do all my writing stuff up on nerdinitiative.com.
Absolutely. Nerdinitiative.com is your home for all things pop culture. We've got comic reviews every Wednesday. We're covering all the shows. So Night of the Seven Kingdoms for HBO, The Pit for HBO. We got Monarch, Legacy of Monsters coming up. We've got The Boys coming up. We've got a lot of good things leading into that. Some Wonder Man coverage. Subscribe, hit notifications on YouTube because we've got that going on. As Fallout has the last couple of weeks, we've got a really cool giveaway with some really awesome Fallout figures that we've got happening. So make sure you go to our Instagram, check out one of the pins on there. drop a comment. And then let us know next week what you want to listen to. So with that said, maybe I'll keep the Daredevil mask on next time, full time. I don't know. It got kind of hard to see. We'll commit to, maybe I'll just start coming in with the glasses. Who knows how I'll change my appearance up each and every week. But one thing's for sure, Daredevil, the man without fear. Thanks for joining us on Man Without Fear Monday. We will see you guys all next time. Go say 5 Hail Mats and get back to us.